Hi, everybody. So in this video, the first thing I want to do is say congratulations. This is the last announcement, the last weekly overview. We have made it to week 15. So in week 15, we're going to be wrapping up the course. The semester does end on the 3rd of December. So one of the things that you're going to see that you probably noticed over in 101 is that while typically we have our Wednesday assignments due in this course in 011 and Sunday assignments due in 101. Our final critical evaluation essay in 101 is going to be due on Wednesday as well because the semester is going to be over on Saturday. So we need to make sure that we turn everything in before the semester ends. So you can see that you have on Wednesday the 30th your Unit 4 journal or presentation on critical evaluation and your final draft of the critical evaluation essay over in 101. So plan accordingly because both of those assignments are going to be coming due on Wednesday. The other things, if you look over in 011 that you have due, in addition to this journal, would be a student survey, another one of those student surveys for Unit 4 in 011. And then I'm also asking you here to just remember to fill out your course evaluations for both 011 and 101. Over in 101, you will also be asked to do the student survey, but you can check that out over there. The major thing that's going to be due in 101 is the critical evaluation essay. And the major assignment that you have due here in 011 is the journal or presentation on critical evaluation. So it is called the journal or presentation on critical evaluation, but if we look at the assignment details, it's also asking you to reflect on the semester as a whole. So it's a little bit different in terms of the questions. So you'll see that one of the things that I ask you to do is carefully review the Unit 4 journal or presentation assignment details, including the new available prompt questions, which we'll do in a moment. The first thing I would like you to take the time to do is look over this article, Self-Exploration and Self-Enrichment, because this article is really going to talk a lot about the process of self-reflection. That's something you've been doing all semester. But this particular assignment is focused on thinking back on things that you've done over the entire semester in addition to Unit 4. So I think it would be helpful to check this article out. So I'm going to ask you to read that first. And then the next thing you're going to do is do this journal or presentation. So again, like you've been doing all semester, think about which format works the best for you. If you're going to write entire paragraphs, the suggestion would be to create a journal, to do this in the format of a Word document. Remember, if you're doing a presentation, presentations, you don't want to create a situation where you have a Microsoft PowerPoint slide where it's just whole paragraphs answering the questions. If you're finding yourself doing that, then my recommendation would be to write a paper instead and work on that paper formatting, the journal paper. Because there's a lot of things also to answer here. So it says answer 2 or more of the prompts, and you're certainly welcome to answer more than 2. If you look at the first question, you can see it's a little bit tonally different. Thinking about the Unit 4 critical evaluation and other units overall, what has gone well this entire semester? So you're really thinking about what you learned in 101 and what you learned in 011 for the whole semester. What mistakes have you made? How did you make them better? What was the most useful strategy you learned about how to make the writing or research process more efficient and to work better for you? What resources or tips will you take with you into the future? I think that's a great question because this is going to ask you, like, what are you going to take with you when you go to 102? What skills are you going to take? What actual resources? If you've been listening to my advice and you downloaded the APA formatting template that's already set up for you in APA 7, where you just have to change like the course name and your name and the title of your paper, if you downloaded that and saved that and you're going to use that in your other courses and you're going to use that in 102 so that you already have a properly formatted template for APA papers, then that's a great example of a resource that you'll carry with you. If this semester you learned that you love to annotate or that you have to write an outline, talk about how you're going to incorporate that in your process in the future. I know a lot of you said that, including back to your Unit 1 journals and presentations. So a really great thing to do to prepare for what you're going to say in this particular journal or presentation is to look back at what you said in the past journals or presentations. If you said, I really learned that annotating helps me, or like one thing that I thought was most valuable in Unit 1 was the outline because it made it so much easier to write my paper. If you learned that and have incorporated that into your writing process, that is a fantastic thing to include in a response to resources or tips that you're already incorporating and you're going to take into your future. Another question is, what revision activities or strategies did you engage in and how did they help improve your writing? All of this is in service of reflecting back on things that you improved and ways that you did it so that you can carry those things with you into the future. I do not want this to be a course that happens solely in a vacuum where you're like, oh, thank goodness I got through it. Never going to think about that again. I hope that critical thinking is something you can carry with you and things that you've learned about how to make the writing process easier, maybe going to the writing center, maybe reading drafts out loud. I'm hoping that those things that you've said in the past made your life easier are things that you're now going to use your critical thinking to incorporate to make the writing process more streamlined and better for you. As always, you have these three options. There is a brainstorming chart available if you've been using those. Again, if you have, another great resource that you could talk about why you always use the brainstorming chart. So maybe I'm going to plan to always brainstorm before I write a journal or reflection. That's a great example of a tip that you might include in the reflection in this journal itself. And then, as always, you've got a description of the three options. And just a reminder that it should be 1 to 3 paragraphs if you do the journal reflection, 1 to 3 minutes if it's a presentation, and your creative visual should be the equivalent of 1 to 3 paragraphs. But you don't want just paragraphs. You want to like break it up into bullet points to present the information so it's not just like reading a paragraph on the screen. If that's the case, then I recommend using the journal. And that's it. That's the last thing that you have to do in this class for the semester. Just reflect on how the semester went and some things that you learned from it and how you can incorporate what you learned into your future assignments in this and other English classes and other classes in general.